boy Shime time. I'm coming at you with a prep video for week 1 of the WTF. Your Gotham Golbats were asked to come and replace a coach who had drafted a team and then actually had bail. And I was like, you know what? I would love to. A buddy of mine asked, and I was like, yep, I'm in. And it's really funny because in week 1, I got to face off against my buddy AshLee the Cat, who I just faced off in week 1 of UBLN just last week. And so we were excited. We're in the same division again, which is crazy cool. He's a wicked good dude, wicked fun guy, and we always have a blast. So I was really excited for this match, but I didn't draft this team. So coming into it, I was excited because a lot of these mons I've never used before. I've only used a couple of them. I was able to make 3 moves when I inherited the team, and what I did was I dropped Greninja, I dropped Magneton, I dropped somebody else, I forget who, and I picked up Mienshao, Delphox, and Nidoqueen because this team needed a fire type, and Delphox is a really nice special fire type that I felt fit in really well. It came down to Delphox or maybe Darmanitan, but I really wanted Mienshao because I wanted the fighting type stab. So I needed a lower tier mon, and Delphox was there, and I thought Delphox was a pretty good fit. It gives me another psychic type on top of Latios, but with Bisharp, Mienshao, and Kecleon's Protean ability, I could really kind of eat up any dark type hit relatively well. And then Nidoqueen I am extremely familiar with. I love Nidoqueen. It's one of my favorite mons, especially in draft league format. It's just super bulky, but you can also go offensive, and so Nidoqueen is very near and dear to my heart. But other than those 3 mons that I traded for, one of which is the only one I've actually used in league format. Out of my entire team, I had used 3 of these mons in league format before, being Latios, Crobat, Mamoswine. Latios and Mamoswine I had in the first season I was in of Pika, and Crobat I had just actually had in season 1 of UBLN. So this was kind of a first for me with a lot of these, but I was super excited. I love Vikavolt. Kecleon's a really bulky, with a decent attacking kind of mon that you can do a lot of things with. Really good utility. Like I said, Delphox, great fire stab, special attacker, decent speed stat, which is really nice. Mantine with water absorb, and it's immune to ground types. It's got that 4 times electric weakness, but you know, I think we can work around that, which is nice. Bisharp, which isn't my favorite mon, I'll be honest, and I thought about trading it with one of my 3 moves, but I really needed a decent steel type. I wanted to keep that Fairy Dragon Steel Core together, and so I was like, you know what, I think Bisharp will work. I'll make it work. And then I paired it with Latios, it was paired with Latios, which I'm very familiar with Latios. I very much enjoy Latios. It was my first overall pick when I was my first season in Pika. And then Mega Diancie is a mon I had never used before. So I was really excited to start prepping for AshLee. AshLee's team is threatening as all hell. He went rain team. He's the Houston Hardens. He went straight up rain with Swamp, Buzzwole, Sylveon, Decidueye, Heliolisk, Minior, Liepard, Heatran, Pelipper, Kingdra, Dusclops. So right off the bat when I was preparing, I was like, all right, I know he's going to bring, I feel like he's going to bring the rain. I don't have a lot of great answers to the rain. Other than Mantine, my team isn't that great in the rain. I mean, Bisharp works well in the rain because, you know, those fire type attacks are weakened, but it still gets bodied by fighting types. It doesn't have the best defensive stats in the world. It hits hard offensively and gets sucker punch and stuff, but overall, my team wasn't terrible in the rain, but wasn't really great in the rain either. I couldn't really, so I figured I'd have to work around that. So I really took that into consideration. I figured the 6 mons I predict him to bring would be Pelipper, Swampert, Sylveon, Heliolisk, Decidueye, and either Kingdra or Buzzwole. Those were kind of my thoughts. I really thought that Heliolisk would come just because that the rain is nice, especially for that dry skin Heliolisk. Constant passive recovery, and if he's with Life Orb, it kind of pairs really well together. That way he could choose to run Thunder if he wanted to, and then really kind of try and put a number on my team with things like Dark Pulse and Volt switching around. So what happened was I was like, all right, I need to figure out exactly how I'm going to beat this. And so this is kind of where I started. I started by bringing Bisharp. I went with a basic 252 set, Jolly. I figured, I think the speed stat I was trying to get over was, I can't remember. I want to say it was like Adamant Buzzwole, or like Adamant Swampert out of Rain. I wanted to outspeed, stuff like that. I think it's a speed tie. That's what it is. It's a speed tie with Jolly Swampert outside of Rain, if I'm max speed. So I figured, you know what, I have to go max speed, just in case that situation comes up. Not that I would really want Bisharp in against that thing, but if I was there, I have to deal with it. So I went Life Orb Bisharp. Basically Oko's Sylveon, especially if there's no defensive investment. Knockoff is there really for utility. Sucker Punch is there for the priority, especially if he does get up Rain. But I figured that if I could get to +2, a Sucker Punch, you know, is still going to hurt a shit ton. And so I figured Bisharp was a decent bring. Like I said, I didn't have a lot of things that I felt I needed to bring this week, because it was really tough to try and play around the rain, knowing that he was going to be able to outspeed me a lot of the times once the rain was up. And if he brought Damp Rock, that rain was just not going to go away, which is actually why I brought this Kecleon set, Bob Ross Kecleon. I figured, you know what, I need a way to try and counteract the rain. I need to be able to, like, if he brings in Pelipper, he's thinking, especially if like a Choice Scarf Pelipper or something like that, he's going to U-turn out, go into one of his, his Rain Sweepers, a Kingdra or a Swampert. I want to be able to immediately change that, so then he won't outspeed a lot of my other mons. And so what I did was I brought Sunny Day. I'm a fully Fizz-Def Kecleon with Sunny Day knockoff Toxic Stealth Rocks. I really just wanted to give myself an opportunity to get rid of the rain if I could, and then at the same time, Kecleon was really just kind of like a utility defense wall. He walls a lot of things, especially with my ability to change, you know, between the types, between rock and poison, dark and fire. That really helped me out. I can kind of maneuver things around, which is nice. And then being out of the rain would be huge. And then I figured, you know what, I need a way to deal with things if I'm in the rain, so I really need to do that. So then I went with Latios. Latios is my next mon that I chose because I figured, you know what, this is the best way to handle Swampert in rain that I'm going to have, offensively at least. So what I did was I brought Psychic, Psyshock, Earthquake, Trick with the Choice Scarf. So this speed actually allowed me to outspeed Adamant Swampert in the rain, which was really nice. And Psychic is doing anywhere close to 50% if he's not, you know, bulky at all. If he's like a normal rain Adamant Sweeper, Psychic is doing close to 50, right around 50%, which is really cool. But the reason I brought 2 Psychic stabs, I know it looks weird, but when you look at mons like Sylveon and Buzzwole, who differ so much in defense and SPDF, I needed both of them because Psychic, you know, on a regular Buzzwole, basically Oko is Buzzwole because its SPDF is so bad, but whereas Sylveon has extremely good special defense and not great defense, and therefore Psyshock is going to do a lot more damage that way. That's really why I brought both of them. There's no other reason, but I figured I needed them, especially if I tricked out my Scarf to something, you know, something like Decidueye or I don't even know, something like Decidueye or the Heatran if he's bulky, or the Pelipper if he's bulky, or Dusclops, really, if you decided to bring that, or even like a bulky Sylveon. Like if I know he's Wish, Protect, Baton Pass, Hyper Voice Sylveon, and I can trick the Choice Scarf onto it and really kind of nullify its ability to be a cleric, that really helps. And then I brought Earthquake because Psychic and Psyshock, the only thing Psychic and Psyshock can't hit for at least neutral damage on this team is Liepard and Heatran. And so I was like, all right, well, I'm not really going to be able to touch Liepard regardless. I don't think he's going to bring it unless he wants to do a bunch of prankster shenanigans, which doesn't really seem like Ash's vibe, which, you know, especially having played him a couple times now and helped him build, and he's helped me build a lot. prankster shenanigans wasn't really what I thought he would bring. And so I wasn't really worried about it, but I brought the Earthquake for the Heat Train because I'm pretty sure it is like on a SPDEF Heat Train. I can look it right now. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it does like 75% at least, which is awesome. Yeah, Earthquake 60 to 73%, so it's a 2-hit KO. So if I catch it on the switch, even if he has Protect, he heals up with leftovers a little bit, it still has a chance at 2-hit KO. And so I figured, you know what, that's probably the best way to go. So that's what I did. Went Psychic, Psyshock, Earthquake Trick, the speed to outspeed Swampert and Rain, 252 special attack, and then threw the rest in bulk. But yeah, that was my Latios set going in. Then I had Mr. Ray, the Mantine. Again, another just kind of defensive pivot. Defog, Roost, Air Slash, Scald, Air Slash, Oko's, Buzzwole, basically 90% of the time, unless he's like Assault Vest. It's the only way it wouldn't. And then Scald is just there for stab utility, things like Heatran, maybe get a burn on Swampert, something like that. And then Defog, I wanted to kind of keep rocks off my side of the field. Not that I have anything super weak to rocks, but just that residual damage can sometimes add up. I wanted to give myself an opportunity to get rid of it. And then you know, a lot of bulk. It's literally just all bulk. That's kind of what Mantine's job was. To go in, take a hit, fire off an Air Slash or Scald, or Roost up if I need to, and then pivot out into something more offensive, or even Bob Ross if I want to get up the sun or something like that. And Mantine really kind of just walls Swampert like completely, because unless he brings like HP Electric, which even on Mega Swampert wouldn't do a whole lot to me. A Water Absorb allows me to eat up any waterfalls he wants to throw at me. Earthquake I'm immune to, and then Ice Punch is neutral, but with my defense, with all this bulk, really I think it only does like 25%. I can show you right now. Normal Adamant Swampert versus my Mantine. Mr. Ray is doing, look at that, 28 to 34%, which I can easily eat up. And I can either choose to Roost or fire off a Scald and hope for a burn if he stays in. So that was basically my reason for bringing Mantine, because it literally neutralized Swampert. And it actually even does a really good job against Kingdra too, because it's so naturally, especially bulky. Like if he's Kritra, level 50. Draco Meteor's only doing 41%, you know, prior to like a Focus Energy. And then if he goes -2, I can literally eat it up and Roost it off. And then fish for a Scald Burn, or especially if we're in the rain, fish for a Scald Burn, or fire off Air Slashes, or do whatever I want. Then I brought Mr. Man-Bear Pig. I love Mamoswine. It's definitely one of my favorite mons. I just love its design, and so I was really glad when I had it on the team. I'm really familiar with Mamoswine. And what I've never done before, ever, in League format, is bring Freeze-Dry Mamoswine. But with mons like Pelipper and Buzzwole, who are 4 times weak to Freeze Dry, I figured it was the perfect opportunity. And look at this, with no investments and a hasty nature so that my special attack doesn't drop. Look at this, it's 4 times weak, Kingdra 4 times weak, Oko's Kingdra, with 4 in special attack and an Icicle Plate. It Oko's Kingdra, just Oko, straight up Oko's him. Swampert, ready for this, look at that, oh, level 50, look at that, 75 to 91%. If I have rocks up, there's a chance that can Oko. Oh, wait, nope, it's just guaranteed to KO. With chip damage, I can basically Oko. And then Pelipper, even if he's defensive Pelipper, level 50, I hate that. Freeze Dry, chance to Oko. 43.8% chance to Oko with rocks up. Oh, I'm putting rocks on the wrong side of the field. That's probably why. It's a guaranteed Oko. So, you know, I figure if there was any time to bring Freeze Dry, it's right now. Then I brought Earthquake for things like Sylveon, Heatran, you know, the like, and it's just such powerful stab. Ice Shard for the priority, and then Knockoff for the utility of trying to get rid of items whenever I can. And then lastly, I brought Emma Stone, my Mega Diancie, basic set, 252, 252, special attacking, kind of sweeper. I brought Calm Mind. Outside of Rain, I outsped everything on his team. Yeah, literally outsped everything on his team. I think Heliolisk is his fastest mon at 108. I can't remember what Lipard's speed is. Lipard is 106. So yeah, literally outspeeds everything on his team, barring a Choice Scarf and outside of Rain. And I figured, you know what? If I could get a Calm Mind up on anything, like a Dusclops or whatever, if I get 1 or 2 combines up and he doesn't have the rain anymore, or he doesn't have any more Scarfers left or whatever, I can just kind of clean sweep with Diancie, because Diancie is a monster. I didn't realize how much damage Diancie puts out, and it is nothing to be trifled with. There's so many weaknesses, especially with that 4 times weakness to steel. Heatran's kind of scary. Luckily, Earth Power does like 98% on a super high roll to even like a Spadef Heatran, and then +1, it's just an Oko. It just wrecks Heatran, which is nice. And then Moonblast Power Gem for those 2 stabs, and it hits his dragon types and stuff like that. So that's kind of what I brought this week. We'll see how it goes out. Hopefully I'll be able to get the match out to you guys shortly after this goes out, but that's kind of what I brought. I'm looking forward to the season. You know, I think our team's really cool. It's going to be a lot of fun. Let's see, can I find the schedule? Yeah. So we face Ash and the Houston Hardens week 1, and then week 2 we go up against Gary and the South Shore Raikus. Let's see who that is. Ooh, he's got a lot of cool mons. But yeah, so it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited. I think this is going to be such a fun league. This is like the second time. This is only the second league that I've ever been in that's all on the 3DS. So shout out to everybody who helps me get my team together. This week it was Neon Zero, aka Eric. Shout out to Eric. Super clutch getting my team together. So I'm in this league in UBLN. I'm going to try and do a UBLN. I missed week 1, which we won, by the way. We beat Ash in UBLN, fun fact. I'll show you just because we're here. I don't want to show you that. I brought a Trick Room team for the first time ever, and he knows how much I hate Trick Room in VGC. And how I think it's dumb. So I brought Trick Room against him, knowing he'd never expect it, and then kind of went from there. But yeah, so that was my first week of UBLN versus him. I beat him, and then we face off in first week of WTF, and we'll see how that goes. All right. Thanks guys for watching, and you know, you can catch your boy next time. Don't worry about it, bruh.